Well, it is August, and we are past the freezer camp date for the meat birds. So I wanted to do a 1-year after action report of the ChickenTractor that we ran. I'll try and run through this quickly. Physically, number one, you can see the dip in the roof because I chose to do the cheapest thing possible for this and use OSB instead of using plywood or something. Obviously, anywhere that water collected on the OSB, even though it was sealed with latex, it soaked in. You know, I'm sure it soaked in here on the edge and this seam here. Anywhere that it soaked in, obviously the OSB is going to deteriorate. So that didn't work out so well, but that I expected it, and that's not really the end of the world. That's not a deal breaker. Number two, the lid, the roof, the big giant section there. Probably would have worked out better if I had used vertically oriented boards for these long pieces because they sag. However, yeah, I guess I could have modified this to do that, but I didn't. So that the roof sags, even though there's drainage holes drilled in the plastic in the center of these low spots here, it does not drain. I mean, you can see when we first built it, it had a nice slope from one side to the other, and I tested it and it drained, and okay, cool. Well, a year in, or one season in, I should say, not so much. Okay, onto the wheels. So the wheels worked out okay. I did have one of my lift blocks, this one split, which isn't a big deal and can easily be replaced. The wheels seem to have worked out. The whole idea of lifting them up and then dragging this thing, that did work as intended. Physical, the weight of this thing is absolutely the biggest downfall to it. It's just heavy and unwieldy. It's not terrible, but it means that I'm the only person in the house that can move it. So it's just one additional thing that I have to make sure that I do every day when there's chickens in here, obviously, is move this every day. Security wise, the chicken wire, I don't think we had any threats. I didn't see any coyotes or anything this year, no possums, other than a little bit of, I don't even know if it's going to show on the video, other than a little bit of wrinkling and stretching that happened here. I didn't see any attempt of anything to get in, so take it for what it's worth. It seems to have worked. So did it work? Yes, it did. Absolutely. Is it easy? Yeah, it's fairly easy. Come out, drag it around, make sure the birds have water, feed them, go on about your day. Downsides, the weight. The other thing is, depending on exactly how you raise your birds, it may be an issue for you, it may not. These were strictly for meat, and we had never done this before. My wife and our son are a little bit more emotional with animals than I am, so we made a real solid effort to differentiate these birds from the egg birds. These were not pets, these are food. And I called them food. None of them ever had a name except food. All of them were called food. That being said, when you're growing animals and they don't know who you are, they tend to be skittish if they're not used to you. So the biggest problem that I had with this was that when it was time to harvest, we had to open this up And I had to crawl in down there and chase chickens that didn't want to come near me because they didn't know who I was and they didn't know why I was trying to touch them. So your mileage may vary. Maybe that's not a problem for you. Maybe you are capable of having pets that you kill, or at least birds that you kill that have names. I don't know, however you want to look at it. But for me, it was a lot easier to just call them food, but then I had more work on the back end of collecting the chickens and trying to crawl in there and get them. That was a pain in the butt. So does it work? Yes. Does it have downsides? Yes. Those are the downsides as I've seen them. I think if I was going to do it again, I would definitely rethink my design. It's really tough because we wanted something that was low to the ground. We didn't want a big mobile hoop house, that we drag across the yard that's gonna take up a bunch of space. We didn't want that. So whatever, it is what it is, I guess. Is it going to stop me from having more birds? No, it's not. It's just a little bit more of a pain than I want to deal with. But yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Hope that helps. We'll see you.